time.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Underestimated Podcast. This is your host, Jeremy. We're back with another episode. Not only welcome back to the podcast, but welcome back to Sand Shark Sundays. This is episode 2. Episode 1 went pretty well. And this is going to be a very promising series. Still trying to work out the kinks to make this a better overall show. Probably won't be examining film. The best thing I might try to do is get like a highlight tape of the person I get the interview from. As far as the interviews go, I believe there is optimism that we will be able to get those. So just work with me. I'm just expecting every episode to get better and better and better. So by the time that 10th one comes, with there is a chance I might do bonus episodes where I do like, the conference tournament, and then very, very hopeful and faithful that both of our teams, men's and women's, will make the NCAA Division II playoffs, the big tournament. So in the event that we do that, then I might do some extra broadcasting. So we'll see. So as you can tell in the title, this episode is going to be centered around the USCB men's basketball team. The USCB men's basketball team, as you'll see in the title, escaped Augusta 91-90. That game gave me everything except a heart attack. It was a very good game, and it's funny because now I'm watching every single game, and going into the season, I had like a series of questions that I was like, okay, I'm watching this team in practice, preseason practice, 2-3 times out the week, and let's see if throughout the course of the season, if they answer these questions. And thus far, they've answered a vast majority of them. And even Coach Ron has emphasized in practice, like, okay, these types of games are going to happen, but you guys got to respond to it a certain way depending on the situation. And in this particular case, this was a game where we were once at a certain point up 15, yet only won by 1 point. But it's basketball, it's sports. Like, you only have to win by 1. As long as you have 1 more point than the other team, by the time the game is over, you win. I mean, this game was just like, you would think it was 2 separate games into one, with the way that the first half differentiated from the second half. The first half, it just seems like we were rolling. We were just firing on all cylinders, and we just went into halftime in a very good position. The score at halftime was 53-38, which is actually it's amazing because we played an Augusta team that is 9-13 now, with them falling to us again, and 4-8 in the Peach Belt Conference. And so, but I'm watching the game and I'm looking at them, and one thing I always do before we play anybody, whether it's conference, non-conference, every single game, I always do like my own sort of scouting. See what the team looks like from a size standpoint. Look at, stats and team stats, individual stats, all that. And I'm like, wow, they got a big team. And so, obviously, in terms of the size advantage, we didn't have that. We were at, actually a size disadvantage. But the way we played in that first half, and, the way we rebounded especially, you would not think that whatsoever. And I mean, I think Augusta is a good team. We were chatting on the local sports lowdown during the game, and we were saying how most of the guys getting a vast majority of the playing time for Augusta were underclassmen, and just saying that even though it's unlikely for it to happen, it would be really, really nice if that Augusta team actually sticks together, because the potential and talent that they have in terms of development in the future could be really, really nice, which Of course, we may not want that because, obviously, I mean, we want to compete. We want the best out of everyone because it's going to make us better. But, who really wants a tough time, right? And so, yeah, it was just an all-around great game. We just had to grind it out and win. And I'm just, just so proud of those guys because I see the work that they put in and how much they are really, really working towards trying to do the unthinkable. And that's win a national championship. And that just, man, that rolls off the tongue very nice. And I think we got the team to do it. I mean, from top to bottom, this team is just all-star caliber talent. And obviously, they're still working with trying to balance it all out because you have so many guys that are, pretty much on the same wavelength and level, talent level. It's really, it's very hard to like mix egos and personalities and just kind of get into the flow of the game. But it's like, I think I'm about to mention this somewhere along the line a few episodes ago. I don't know if it was on this specific series, but maybe within like a regular scheduled episode. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. There was once upon a time where we had a top 5 player in every position. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins. All at that time, all-star caliber talent. But we still had to find a way to mix it. And obviously that team didn't get to really get the opportunity to gel. But, you look at it, and I could even date back to this when we got Kevin Durant from the start. That team had to learn how to gel. You got 2 of the top 5 best players in the NBA at the time and 2 MVP caliber talents, and they had to learn how to mix with one another. And so the same thing kind of applies here, but it's a broadened challenge because of it being not just a handful, but like 10, 12 guys that can legit get, pivotal playing time on this team. So, ideally, if it were to happen, I would have interviewed Evan. Evan would have been the guy I would have highlighted and interviewed for this segment because this dude, he just keeps delivering. I will admit I was very hard on him to start the year off. Even just, the process of him learning a new offense and getting into the swing of a new team system and all that. It wasn't the prettiest to see. And to think of, man, he's come a long way, and I'm really proud of my guy. Like, because thinking about when I first saw him practice, the first time I was present in an off-season practice, to now, 20 games in, basically. He has improved and, proven himself a whole lot, throughout the season. And he's just getting better and better and better. And he's gonna, he was once looked at, to me, I thought somebody was just gonna, kind of run the offense and kind of just go into the flow of the game. But this dude is like leading the charge. And, the guy that we would likely end up going to in the clutch, because he's clutch. Like, if he doesn't score the entire first half, I'm not, worried, because I know in the last 5 minutes of that second half, that switch is just going to flip, and he's going to turn into a completely different animal. That's something I think a lot of teams need. Like, you need a closer, and he is absolutely 1,000% the closer of that basketball team. And I mean, it's just a lot to love about Evan. The person that he is, super humble, super laid back, but when he's on that court, he is an all-out dog. I think this game gives a huge confidence boost to our guys. I think every game is like a brick that you're just building and building and building towards something great. And that's the thing that we always talk about, being great people, being great athletes, just all around doing what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis to live a great life. And they understand that, and it's just a bunch of guys trying to come together to just accomplish one common goal, and that is, first running the Peach Belt and, winning the Peach Belt tournament championship, and then going to win a big one, going to cut down the nets. And I think it's Kentucky. I think like Kentucky or Arkansas. I'm not sure where the NCAA D2 championship is, but anyway, this is a game that I think we needed. I mean we need every single one, but some of them you lose sleep over some games more than others, and we got a big test coming up. Hopefully tomorrow. Maybe it's tomorrow. It's currently snowing here, which is kind of cool because, being from South Carolina, we don't get much snow. We get like snow once every 10 years. But for like the first time in probably forever, we can say that we've had snow in back-to-back years, which is not something that, like I said, we have been able to say in South Carolina. So that's cool. But I want to hoop. I don't want to hoop. I mean, I want to hoop, but I want to watch some hoop. I want to see my guys go at it. And not really sure if the game is on. It got postponed because it's supposed to be today, but it got postponed to tomorrow. So we shall see. I'm hoping it's still on, but I mean it's a conference game, so nonetheless it won't get fully canceled. It'll just get postponed to a later date. And we got Lander. We got the record-wise the best team in the Peach Belt Conference. And this is the battle for the number one seed. Like tomorrow, if we do play, or when we play Lander, let me put it that way. Whenever we play Lander, that is, to me, I've been saying the past couple of days, that is the Peach Belt Championship. That is, what I'm saying? Like, a common term we hear in today's sports that says if it was like a big game, no matter what level of sports it is, they say, oh, this is our Super Bowl. Well, yeah, you can very well make the case that whenever we play Lander, that is technically our Super Bowl, and we have to get that game because one thing about our guys, they don't forget. They understand the significance of every single game that they play, and 9 times out of 10 they play they play up to the level of that significance. They understand that the last time that they played Lander, it was not pretty. I remember watching that game because I think we were going on, I want to say, fall break, aka Thanksgiving break. And I had just loaded up the car, on a ride back home. I'm watching the game and I'm just like, man, because we've only been really punched in the mouth twice this season. And we played a total of 20 games now. So we've only been punched in the mouth twice. That was against Lander and against University of Alabama Hudsonville, which is, at the time when we played them, they were like the 6th ranked team in all of the NCAA Division II. And we got mollywopped. And then, play Lander, and I'm not one to make excuses, but I mean, there's a case you can make an excuse every single game. There's always something that you can say, oh, I was sleepy, I was injured, or so you can always find some excuse to kind of allocate why you didn't win. But nonetheless, I had to let it be known that we did not have half of our team that game, because a vast majority of them were either sick or dealing with some sort of injury. So now it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be an all-out war because not really sure what their health status is like, but I know all I guys are ready to go. We're not going to have anybody who's, sick or dealing with some sort of injury. We got all guys ready to go in and suit up, and they're ready. They practiced yesterday. I was there. I was present. I actually was not playing this way. It's just for the past couple of days, I don't know why. I've just not gonna say I haven't cared about what I've worn, but it's like I haven't known what I wanted to wear. It's just like, oh, I haven't worn this in a long time. Let me put this on. This is the kind of thing. And so I threw on this, probably one of my favorites now, or if not my favorite, warm-up suit. It's a polo warm-up suit. It's royal blue and has like a yellowish, goldish polo horse on it, and those are Lander's colors, blue and gold. And I didn't even realize it because I didn't even know for sure if I was going to go to their practice. It's just the way that the day was kind of panning out. It just felt right to go, and it made sense to go. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. And then I didn't realize till I, put on my bag and stepped out the room to walk over there that I realized, I'm like, oh, I got on their colors. And I'm like, you know what, maybe if I don't make attention to it, they won't. I was like, man, they're about to maul me and really get on my head about having all Landers colors. And I was telling one of our student managers, my guy, one of my good friends, Trip. I said, Trip, I kind of got all Landers colors. And he was like, yeah, you look like Landers mascot right now. And I was like, all right. But none of them noticed or said anything. They all came and, dapped me up, said what's up, and none of the coaches noticed either. They all came and dapped me up and spoke, and so whatever. But they know I'm riding with them till the wheels fall off 1,000%, ride or die with my guys. So they know what's up. They know what it is. But yeah, like just back to the game. And it shows that we gotta be on our A game because the regular season is important, but we all know, any sports fan or athlete knows that the playoffs just present a different animal. And not just the playoffs, but the sports. Like I say all the time, if somebody just comes in on that day and they just have it, then they got it. It has nothing really to do with you per se, but if they're just on that day, no matter how they may look worse than you, how much worse they may look than you, if they're just on that day and you're not, then they're going to beat you. And so we have to realize that like Augusta can very well play the same way that they did last Wednesday or on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. Y'all get it. It was the 28th. It's 31st. So yeah, but they can play that very same way, and compete and give us a hard time to advance further in the playoffs. I just think about our guys, like, even when this game seemed as if it was just like that last 2 minutes is when I really my anxiety just reached another level, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, come on, boys, like, lock in, like, let's get this thing done, like, bring it home. And man, you got 11 on your team. When 11 is on your team, Mr. Evan Kilmister is just, that dude keeps me faithful for sure. But what it is, they don't panic. Whether they're down 20, 25, like, it's going to take a lot for them to back down. And honestly, I can say that I don't ever see them backing down. So just an all-around beautiful performance, but we ain't done. Far from done. This is just another brick added to the building, and we got so much more to go. So now let's kind of hop into the statistical part of it. So USCB shot 53% from the field, as did Augusta. We shot 43% from three. They shot 44. We shot 70% from the free throw line. They shot 74. We had 26 total rebounds. They had 34, which, with the size advantage, you wouldn't expect them to win the rebound battle. But we won the game, so who cares? But, I mean, it's something we got to pay attention to and be aware of going forward. We had 12 turnovers. They had 16, which I think we did an exceptional job with the exception of probably those last 7 minutes of the second half, because we just got really turnover frenzy. We did a pretty good job. I would like to think in taking care of the basketball, and then steals. We accumulated 10. They ended up with 8. Now, kind of jumping into sort of a box score kind of thing. Evan obviously finished the game with 24 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. And we had 4 guys to score in double figures with Evan, Dom, Q, and Ish. Dom had 10, Q had 15, which was probably the loudest game he's had thus far. Like, like some people you just see, like, they ended up with 20, and it's like, oh, wow, that was a very quiet 20. I didn't see him getting 20. I saw Q get 15. I saw him get 15. And he had to work for it, too, because they checked the scouting report, and they were, closing those lanes and kind of cutting him off. But he's strong and he's physical, so even when you do that to him, he, more than likely is going to find a way to push through it and still get to the cup and do his 1-2. Then Ish finished with 14, which he did give Evan a huge help during that game. But, I mean, it was just all around great contribution from our guys. It was just, a team effort. That was probably the biggest team win that we've had this season, because it just seemed like they were just very united in this game. We had, Hudson dropping 8 points, and then Shea with 6, Aiden with 5, Lucas added in 3, Nolan also got in 5, so just a whole bunch of guys contributing. To a just overall great team win. And then for Augusta, really, they had some spread of points within their team as well. Halson gave us 23. Joyner had 19. That dude's pretty nice. Deron Dunbar gave us 15. Kendon Wilbur gave us 13. Luis Nonfon gave us 6. Matias Zanotto gave us 9. Cameron Pacheco gave us 3. 2 from Charlie Macbeth. So, obviously, Coach does a great job of developing a scouting report and getting them ready game plan wise to go out and play, because they know exactly what to do with who heading into every single game. So those numbers, I think, are going to drop significantly when we play them, or if we do have to play them in the Peach Belt Conference Championship, because it's not guaranteed. Because I think 7 teams get in. Yeah, 7 teams get in, which means 1 team is getting a bye, I believe. Because I know the first 4 seeds of that tournament get a automatic home game for the first round, and then it kind of just goes from there. But yeah, this was just an amazing, crazy game. Ooh, love the stats, guys, that we have on our USCB team because we got some more stats I can even dive into. Okay, first up turnovers. We had 21. Augusta had 19. Second chance points. They had 15. We had 3. So got to improve there. But, I mean, obviously, if you're making shots the first time, there's second chance points. And, the rebound battle, that's probably where that came from. Bench points. Oh, wow. This is a very interesting stat right here. We had 51 bench points, which is something we're going to need all the way through if we're thinking about winning this thing completely. 51 bench points to their 14. We both had. Oh no. Okay, so points in the paint. Points in the paint. We had 30. They had 40. Fast break points. Yeah, another lopsided stat. We had 26 and they had 8. So yeah, because usually like once we get on the break, those boys take off and that's pretty much it. Unless you got some fast guys that can get back and set up real quickly, you don't really stop us in transition. Score tied by. That was both 6. The stat I was talking about, I was kind of confused with earlier. It was lead gained by, and it was both 5 for both teams. So now, we're talking about a team that has now improved to 15-5 on the season and 9-3 in Peach Belt Conference play. And it was actually a point in the game early where the two teams we were both tied at 14, but that didn't last long. Nolan ended up getting a steal and got up on the fast break and took off and eventually led to a 12-0 run and kind of sailed from that point on. And, well, it kind of looks like, this Landry game coming up is going to be postponed because it is snowing. And, we're in the lower part of South Carolina, low country part, and Lander is up, upper state. So I know their snow is much heavier than ours. So, but it's okay because, hey, we'll be ready whenever that game gets an opportunity to be played. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of all that I have. Like I said, I am looking forward to kind of incorporate some interviews here. I did have the little mics that you see on TikTok and all that when people do interviews and stuff. I had them. I had white ones. Don't know what I did with them. So I had to buy some new ones. Got some black ones now. So gonna hopefully end up getting some interviews with the guys going forward, and can talk to the girls to see how they feel about it. But yeah, those should be in there. Now probably won't be any film examination, but I think interviews would elevate this somewhat significantly. So it's something. It's another element to it. But yeah, I mean that is pretty much all that I have. The last episode that I put out, I didn't put out an episode yesterday because I'm being stubborn and I am looking to let episode 60 be a interview. So I've been talking with some people and optimistic that I will have someone within the next 48 hours to put out for Monday. So should be an interview out coming out Monday. That's why episode didn't come out yesterday, but this will for sure come out tomorrow at noon. So, and I put out episode Wednesday. I was talking about Sugar Sean O'Malley's return back to the octagon after injury and getting a victory over Song Yudong, which from what I saw today, checking this morning, they actually did supreme uptake. Yeah, I seem to like which I mean, in this day and age, yeah, I probably should have been doing this, but I'm kind of just new to it and kind of figuring out how to do it. I need to go make some more right now. I like the short clips of showing certain segments of past episodes, so I'm gonna keep putting those out and doing it with the new episodes too. I'm kind of already behind the grain because this is episode, well, what would be upcoming episode 60 of the podcast, and then this is Sandshark Sunday episode 2. But yeah, us remember, don't underestimate, appreciate, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Go.